my colleagues, organizers, are having questions about changing the program, because the question is, my films in total are much shorter, obviously, than the full-length feature film of César Oiticica, but we'll try to adapt tomorrow's program so that everything that's planned in the program will be contemplated, okay? Okay, very shortly, well, we have lots of time now. That's the good side of it, yeah? These films will be shown, they're all very short films, Super 8. I don't know if everyone here is familiar with the Super 8 format. This was a very common, cheap and easy way to make films in the 60s and 70s, up until video came along in the early 80s. Portable video, amateur video equipment came along in the early 80s. So a lot of people made cinema, made movies with Super 8. I was one of them. What we're going to see is a sequence of 5 or 6 films, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 films, which is basically a compilation of films that I did in New York, all of them, with direct or indirect participation of Hélio. The first one is called New York 1972-76. That's a compilation of various different things. We will see, this was, of course, not edited as far as image is concerned, but various short films were put together, and soundtrack was laid on recently last year, okay? All these films were obviously transcribed to HD video, so the quality is still quite good, actually. So the first one is called New York 1972-1976, 2 minutes. A compilation, like I said, shows Hélio in both of his home studio, whatever you want to call it, his workplace, his home and workplace, both the first one on 81 2nd Avenue and the second one to where he moved in 1974 on 18 Christopher Street in the West Village. The next one is called All Language, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. When he lived in New York from 1970 to 78, for a couple of years, Hélio worked the night shift at night, from midnight until 6 o'clock in the morning, as a freelance translator at the translation office. Translation is such a big theme here today. And Hélio worked as a translator in this official translating office. They did official translations from Portuguese to Arabic to English to whatever. Hélio, of course, didn't do Arabic, but he did both from Portuguese and French to and from English. English, Portuguese, French, Portuguese, French, English, and Portuguese, French, French, Portuguese as well. So I went there one night, late in the early morning, actually. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a clock that shows the time. And it shows Hélio in this very strange place. Hélio would never work in a normal, regular office. I mean, he found this place. I don't know how he found it. This very strange place, as you're going to see. Okay, the next one is called Phone, written P, then H-O, big letters, then N-E, from 1975. This is Hélio on the phone, that's why it's called Phone, in his home studio on 18 Christopher Street. All right, the next one called One Night on Gay Street. This was shot in black and white, also 1975, and this is a collaborative work, let's say, between me, my brother Thomas Valentin, Hélio, Wally Salomão, who was also there in New York at this time, the poet, who also appeared in Ivan's film, and another good friend of ours and of Hélio's called Luis Carlos. And it's sort of a fiction film, I mean, sort of a noir type idea of a fiction film. It's very dark. I hope you'll be able to see all of it because it's a very grainy. This was shot at night in the street with no extra lights, just the lights of the street lamp lights. So it's very grainy, grainy film, grainy black and white Super 8 film, Tri-X. Hopefully we can get the details. The close-up we'll be able to see. All right, the next one, called Fleet. This has a story behind it. This is a story that it's also all very short. This is 3 minutes and 40 seconds only. This was a story that Hélio actually heard himself from somebody in the, not in the favela, but this was a drug dealer in Rio, a very big drug dealer in the 60s and the early 60s until late 60s when he died. And this was a story, supposedly, that Hélio heard from someone. And it tells a story how this drug dealer, who was totally addicted on cocaine, when he died, he asked his daughter and his daughter and sons actually to inject cocaine through his nose with this machine that was used to you will see the machine there. I mean, this doesn't exist anymore. This is not a machine. It's a device, not a machine. Machine's a bit exaggerated. It's a device to fumigate, okay? Where you put like insect poison to fumigate the air. It's the predecessor of aerosols. This was a period when aerosols were not available yet, okay? So that's a story. And we did this in Hélio's 18 Christopher Street loft. And it's besides the story, which is totally crazy, obviously, this also... the way we did it, you will see that scenes repeat themselves. This was in order to show Hélio lived in a very, very small, his second apartment was very, very small. I would say the entire apartment might be 1/3 of this room here, the entire apartment, bathroom, kitchen, everything. And he built those nests there, and we tried to sort of expand this environment into something larger by showing the same scene sort of in expanding the time of these scenes, sort of, okay? All right, and finally the next one, the last one, is called Call Me Helium. This was done in 2014, in other words, last year, obviously without the participation of Hélio. And this is a project that my brother Thomas and I conceived in 1974, together with Hélio. We were already back in Brazil. Hélio was still living in New York, and through a very intense exchange of letters, we idealized this project, which was supposed to be a balloon filled with helium gas, obviously a reference to Hélio. Yeah? This was supposed to be hoisted on Ipanema Beach, and with a performance at that time with a good friend of Hélio's, actually his lover, actually, and this was supposed to be done in 1974 for various reasons. We don't have time here to go into the details of this. We weren't able to do it that time, and we did it last year at a cultural center in Rio. We got sponsoring to do this, and we did it together with an exhibition of photographs and films. Films were also shown, and the balloon was hoisted first on the beach, as it was supposed to be done originally, and then also at the Cultural Center in Rio, Centro Cultural Correios in Rio, with a performance by Wali's brother, Jorge Salomão. Well, that's basically it. Let's go to it.